The election is in full swing right now, and it's pretty much your usual campaign. Candidates offering policy proposals, trading barbs, and occasionally getting convicted of 34 felonies and complaining about the judge. Trump definitely doesn't know what the word literally means, but given his inability to talk about the Bible, it is possible that he doesn't know what crucified means either. Though I could be wrong, maybe Jesus got nailed to planks because of his hush payments to a porn star. I don't know. He is currently slightly ahead of Biden in the polls, so there is a pretty good chance he could be back in the White House next year. And given that, it's worth talking about what he plans to do if he gets there, because Trump does have a second-term platform.
Ever wonder what could make Trump's orange face turn beet red? John Oliver just found the magic word, and boy, did it work. In a hilarious takedown that's got everyone talking, Oliver dropped a verbal bomb so potent it sent Trump into a Twitter meltdown. Grab your popcorn, folks. This is gonna be good. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Picture this. John Oliver, our favorite British funny man, standing on stage with that mischievous grin of his. He's about to roast Trump harder than a Thanksgiving turkey left in the oven overnight. But first, he's got to warm up the crowd. Oliver starts off innocently enough, chatting about presidential couples and their quirky dynamics. You know, folks, every first couple has their thing. The Obamas had their fist bumps. The Bushes had their... well, let's be honest, who remembers? The audience chuckles, not realizing they're being set up for the main event. But then, our cheeky Brit starts dropping hints about a certain orange-tinted duo.
Let's try and answer a few basic questions. First, what is Donald Trump's foreign policy? Because it seems to be little more than repeating a single phrase.
America first. America first.
The only president who combines the sordid extramarital affairs of a young JFK with the dead-eyed puffiness of a post-Watergate Richard Nixon. Wow. You know, it says something about the Trump era that the phrase, "the same worms will eat him too," actually qualifies as a hopeful thought.
Now, let's talk about a couple that's more combustible than a deep-fried turkey dipped in gasoline. The audience leans in, sensing something juicy is coming. Oliver throws in some classic Trump zingers to get the ball rolling. I mean, we've all heard about Trump's hair. It's like a golden retriever had a baby with a tumbleweed. And those hands, well, let's just say he probably struggles with those big red buttons at the nuclear facility. The crowd is eating it up like it's free hamburgers at the White House. But our host isn't done yet. He starts peppering in some spicy rumors about the Trumps' relationship. You know, I've heard that Melania and Donald communicate primarily through their lawyers these days. It's like a very expensive game of telephone, but with more prenup negotiations.
Project 2025, which I know sounds like a sexy CW sci-fi drama, starring Ashanti, Chad Michael Murray and Turtle from Entourage, but incredibly, it's even worse than that.
The 2025 Presidential Transition Project
brings together conservative organizations
to ensure the policy and personnel are in place
on January 20th, 2025.
Project 2025 aims to do for Trump's whole presidency what the Federalist Society did for his judicial picks, give him a step-by-step game plan that he simply has to execute and then take credit for.
The audience is on the edge of their seats now, practically salivating for what's coming next. Oliver's got them right where he wants them. But folks, let me tell you something about our former president that might shock you. He pauses for dramatic effect, milking the moment like a dairy farmer on overtime. And then, boom, Oliver drops his first mini bomb. Donald Trump is what you'd get if a sentient spray tan decided to run for president. Crowd goes wild, laughing so hard you'd think they just heard the world's funniest joke. But little do they know, Oliver's just getting warmed up. All right, folks, let's talk about power couples. You know, those dynamic duos that make us all go, "ah," or "you," depending on how we feel about them.
More than 100 conservative organisations have come together to work on this, and they're all there. You've got the Heritage Foundation, Liberty University, the NRA, Turning Point USA, Rodeo Clowns for Trump. They've even produced a 900-page handbook on their goals, which are sweeping. It proposes dismantling NOAA, the agency that tracks hurricanes and protects marine life, because it's, quote, one of the main drivers of the climate change alarm industry. States that pornography should be outlawed and the people who produce and distribute it should be imprisoned. And these proposals are extreme because The people who wrote them are extreme.
We've got cute nicknames like Brangelina, Kimya, and Benifer. But what about our favorite orange-tinted ex-president and his lovely wife? What do we call them? John Oliver, that cheeky Brit with a knack for roasting politicians, decided it was high time the Trumps got their own special moniker. And boy, did he deliver. As he stood on stage, you could practically see the wheels turning in that brilliant head of his. The audience leaned in, hanging on his every word, waiting for the zinger they knew was coming. Now, I've been thinking long and hard about this, Oliver said, his eyes twinkling with mischief. What word could possibly sum up the unique, let's call it chemistry, between Donald and Melania Trump? He paused for effect, letting the tension build. You could hear a pin drop in that studio.
That is focusing on his relationship with the world. Because while we were away, you may remember one particular remark he made.
According to the US president, Africa is a shithole.
He absolutely said that, except, to be fair to him, it's actually worse, because he reportedly called Africa, Haiti, and El Salvador shitholes, which is just not okay. And I personally have called Belgium a shithole multiple times, but in my defense, A, I'm not president, and B, Belgium is a loathsome chocolate gulag with no objective reason to exist. Project 2025 aims to do for Trump's whole presidency what the Federalist Society did for his judicial picks, give him a step-by-step game plan that he simply has to execute and then take credit for.
Is it love? Oliver asked, feigning innocence. The audience snickered. No, that's not quite right. Is it respect? More laughter. No, still doesn't fit. How about warmth? By now, the crowd was in stitches, eagerly anticipating the punchline. Finally, Oliver took a deep breath and dropped the bomb. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Melania. The audience erupted in a mix of laughter, gasps, and applause. It was the perfect blend of wordplay and savage commentary on the Trumps' seemingly lukewarm relationship. Social media went bonkers. Within minutes, hashtag Melania was trending worldwide. Twitter users were having a field day, coming up with their own jokes and memes. One person tweeted, "Melania, when your marriage is about as exciting as watching paint dry on a wall Mexico didn't pay for. Ouch." But the real show was just beginning. You see, our dear friend Donnie doesn't take kindly to being the butt of jokes. And this one? Well, it hit him right where it hurts. His ego. Well, folks, it looks like John Oliver's one-word zinger has left Trump with a serious case of word indigestion. Our favorite orange-tinted reality TV star turned politician couldn't handle a little linguistic jab. Who knew the self-proclaimed stable genius had such a fragile ego? But let's be real, this is just another day in the circus we call American politics. Oliver's takedown was sharper than Trump's infamous hair part, and the fallout more explosive than a taco truck at a MAGA rally. So my fellow comedy lovers, keep your eyes peeled for more political shenanigans. Remember, in Trump's world, it only takes one word to burst his bubble and his ego. Maybe next time, he'll think twice before picking a verbal fight with a comedian, or maybe he'll just tweet about it. Either way, we'll be here, popcorn in hand, ready for the next episode of The Real Housewives of Washington, D.C.